Blog Talk Radio.
Here at ACO Radio, American Communications Online, or any affiliated stations or websites are not responsible for what guests, hosts, or call-ins may say. All programming is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only.
I'll slap the shit out of you. Bad girl. You better run. Run. Bad girl. Bad. Go on. Bad girl. You too. I'll feed you.
Here at ACO Radio, American Communications Online, or any affiliated stations or websites are not responsible for what guests, hosts, or call-ins may say. All programming is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only.
Hello, world. I hope you can hear me. A little technical difficulty getting started today. I'm very happy and pleased to say that MediaCom has finally come through once again and got us all hooked up, but it's touch and go now because now I was having trouble in New York with VoxNest and Blog Talk Radio getting on, not giving me all the keys. So I've cleared all my computers, and hopefully everything is going to go fine from here on. So Tommy and Janette, if you can hear me, we'll move forward here and hopefully get going. I'm not sure, I guess because of all the people at home now with COVID-19, and we're all here at home doing our shows, and remotely is sort of out of the question, but I guess remote is now home. So I just appreciate being here and hope you can hear me. I've got new equipment, new modems, new phones, and nobody seems to be here. So it could be different computers doing different things, but I found out some really strange things happening. But I guess I better get on with the show and say hello, world. Welcome all you ground troops spinning around smartly on the planet. I'll get the chat room going here, and we'll see where everybody is today. Today, Jenny Lucas has decided to join us today from Virginia. And she's between D.C. and Virginia. I guess she is a psychic by trade. And let me pull her up here because we were having trouble yesterday just talking to each other. And same thing on LinkedIn. But, you know, everything's been really busy and really strange. She's got reachjanette.com, Janette Matasia Lucas, speaker professional psychic and dowser, and a very nice website. But let me read you a little about her background. Janette's known as a working psychic with police, families, and businesses around the world. And she helps people on various projects, including those of missing persons, finding lost items, missing objects, even solving mysteries and finding treasures. In the past, she's been with producers or TV shows, and she's been a call for hire, and she's also done technical advising with her expertise in movies and documentaries, and she has some business projects she's working on. So we were going to see what we could create together. I have not been up. This is the first time I've been on her website. So we didn't really have time to even discuss who we were or what we were. It's sort of a spiritual path. And hopefully she'll be calling in here in a few minutes. She additionally worked on residential and commercial water wells, including horse farms and business owners, for treasure hunting and some military projects that hired her. So it's going to be interesting to hear what all she's found. She has some type of psychic ability. We all have gifts. Not everybody uses them, but we're going to talk about how she's creating her team and what she's doing internationally for working in the paranormal realms and with ghost hunting, mysteries of the paranormal, 40 in kind, and also how being a spiritual being and a human on Earth has helped her with her intrinsic abilities, her psychic abilities. She's a member of the American Society of Dowsers and helps with various training and development in the paranormal with dowsing for such groups as the Edgar Cayce Foundation, or just working to include things like her dreams and how you do lectures such as North Virginia Community College. And she's currently working on some books and proposals. So she's got a lot going on. So let me see if this is she. Is this Janette Lucas?
Hey, Theresa.
Ah, there you are. Great. I was really getting concerned. I was having all kind of technical problems, but you had already warned me.
Yep. There you
I
go.
believe you now. I've had some of the strangest things trying to get you on my show. How are you, Janette?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you. I want to build the show up bigger, but I think if I'll have you back another time to really build this out. I don't see my partner even in Hawaii, but I don't know. I really did have problems. I'm on two phones in two lines just to get into Vox Nest in New York City where our studio is. But now you're calling me in from Virginia for the first time ever. Now this is going to be for historical purposes, folks. I hope to build the psychic network again back up since I haven't really been working on my psychic abilities or my shows the way I should have, or taking all the readings I could have. But we can get into the reasons for that with different people. But Ginette, now, Janette, you're going to have to tell me, is Metacia the proper way to say your middle name? Because I'm just for the first time looking at your website. So forgive me. I've been cell phone blind, if you know what I mean. I haven't. I've got 3 laptops, 3 cell phones, and trying to figure out how to use them with my fat fingers. So this is the first time I've seen your website. Is this how you say Metacia, or is that? Would you say your name for me?
Yeah, you said it, Metacia. That's my maiden name.
That's beautiful. Is it Italian?
Yeah, it is Italian. Yep.
Beautiful. Janette Metacia Lucas.
Over there.
Now, you got the name Lucas, which is one of my favorite people on the planet, but you're not related to George Lucas by any chance.
He's my husband's distant cousin, the Pinckneys and Lucases, yes, from Charleston.
Really? Yeah. I was just guessing, although I love genealogy. Wow, I don't know if we should start with names and genealogy or do this as your life Ginette, because you've been on so many other shows already, and I didn't know that till the last 15 minutes, had time to try to grab something. I couldn't even grab your pictures, but I will put you up, with your links and your name and all of that in the future for all of our future radio shows. But Janette, go ahead. I sort of did a little intro that I read. I hope you didn't mind. I just grabbed it off of your website, your domain. And let me tell you which one I got this one off of. It's called reachjanette.com. Is that okay? I just volunteered the information, open source. It's open source, right?
It's very kind of you. Thank you. I'm very flexible. I don't get upset easily. Or she'd spit at me, maybe.
Well, this is a wonderful website, and I guess you're considered a media personality. You have a Facebook, you're in social media, and I've seen that you've had some pictures up in Google, which I was trying to grab. I just wasn't fast enough with all the technical problems I was having. Although the bills are paid, so don't you hate it when the bills are paid but nothing goes right? So that was today's date with Ginette Lucas, speaker, professional psychic. So let me just let you do the honors. Would you go ahead and introduce yourself any way you'd like to for our listening audience, the ones that I share on all my many social media groups and clubs and just out there for anybody out there listening, and they're all over the place. So just go ahead and tell us who you are and what you're about, Janette, please.
Sure. All right, so we'll start off from like the 1960s. My father got into the paranormal because he heard about dowsing.
Can you talk a little louder? Are you at home on your cell?
Can you hear me better?
Yeah, it was just dropping, but okay, it could just be my phone, but go ahead. Okay, so you started off with a psychic.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Oh, lots better. Yeah, lots better. Thank you.
Okay. So basically, in the 1960s, my father was very interested in the paranormal because his father was dying, and he knew about the other side, near-death experiences and communicating with the other side. So he initially got started with it because his father was good friends with Bob Monroe in the Bob Monroe Institute or the Monroe Institute in Charlottesville, Virginia.
Yes, I'm very familiar with that. In what is it, Hemisync?
Yep. And my my grandfather used to play cards every Friday with Bob Monroe. My grandfather was in Charlottesville. I'm from Charlottesville. When they came to America, they went to Ohio, and then they went to Stanton, and then they went to Charlottesville and became full-time community members of Charlottesville, Virginia. And there were like 9 of them in that particular family. And so they spread out and they started a fruit company. But they always had an interest in a little of everything. Everything. And so my father grew up with just an interest in the paranormal among photography and spirit photography, and it's just amazing. So in the 1960s, he had heard about water dowsing, and he learned about it from a man who couldn't find a pipe on the property at a business location. And it wasn't a water well, it was an actual pipe to show the survey line at a business office. And so a plumber came over and said, here, try these. And he showed him the L-rod for water dowsing and for water witching or whatever you want to call it. And so when they found the pipe, my father was just, it's a wow factor. It's got a wow factor. And so my dad took it to the next level and said, well, if we can do that, let's go ahead and try to find missing people. Let's use our dreams, combine all of the above. And so I'm getting distracted. Somebody's calling in. Sorry. So let's ignore that. So he decided to talk to his friend who was CIA. And he said, hey, you're not going to believe it, but you could take these L-rods or the pendulum for water dowsing, and you can locate booby traps and bombs for Vietnam, I bet. So my dad videotaped all that material and all the training, and some members of the Pentagon Chiefs of Staff came out to our house when I was like 7, and they got to watch it, experience it. apply it, train some of the Marines, how to douse, that kind of thing. And my dad sort of went world famous on that opportunity, and they actually applied it when they went to Vietnam. So there are pictures of men in Vietnam with the L-rod walking down the road to find booby traps and bombs. And when they went to one particular road, for example, the L-rods opened up, but they used a metal detector trying to see if it was a bomb, and it wasn't a bomb at all. It turned out that they were digging, and they found this little about 3-inch, 4-inch pipe, and inside the pipe was a communication from the North Vietnamese to, their spies, whatever. Hey, we're going to be over here, we're going to be over here, and so forth. And so the next thing they did was they used the same L-rod. So they found the communication devices, which helped them, in different battles. And then they used the same communication devices, the L-rod, to find tunnels. And then eventually when they found the tunnels, we had guys during the Vietnam War that were called the rat tunnelers. And they would dig a hole and throw bombs down the hole, kill people, and go down there and do a body count of how many Vietnamese were down there. I mean, it's a terrible story, but it did help the Americans. But now we use it for water wells, and a lot of people do it for the track, horses. And I have not mastered that one yet. I'm trying. But I have found treasure. So I'm just basically saying I was around this at 7. I learned how to do it when I was 7. And then eventually I had a few near-death weird experiences. And one of them was pretty bad, and I died and came back in the hospital. The next one died and came back, and I was in the hospital. And I was told to do some things. So now they told me to become a psychic. They didn't say the word psychic. They said, I want you to do this, this, and this, which is all psychic work. And here I am. And they explained a lot more, which is going to be in one of my books. And it absolutely fascinating going to the other side and coming back. And I guess, I've done a lot of the plethora of the paranormal. And, I have an interesting life. It's not boring. It changes every day. Clients call every day. I'm doing a lot of treasure hunting, which is fun. My first treasure hunt find, and then we'll wrap this up, was an Al Capone treasure that was hidden in Illinois. And my client found over 60 bars of silver. They look like bricks, and they weighed about 6 to 10 pounds. And he stole it with Ray Nitty, and Ray Nitty hid it in Illinois, and my client found it in about 45 minutes. So I used the dowsing bit and my psychic ability to pinpoint it. And on my website, reachjanette.com, there's a picture of my dad holding a bar. It looks really weird. It looks like a brick, and it's actually a bar of silver one of the bars of silver that the guys found. And it's a very fascinating story.
Oh,
Again,
Finding Treasures under your book. I was scrolling down your website. Yeah, he's got a red something on.
He's got a red scuba. Yeah, he did scuba diving. Yeah, he did scuba diving. He did canoeing. He wrote 4 books on canoeing. He wrote a book on treasure hunting. But what was interesting is that particular silver bar was one of the bars that Al Capone and Ray Nitty and his crew stole from the federal government. And I kept telling my dad, we got to turn it in, because if we turn it in, it's one hell of a story. Excuse my language. And it's just an amazing story. And it's only one of many things they stole. And it could be a great movie. Here's the story of Al Capone. Here's the story of Ray Nitty. And he used to go to this family's house in the South because he loved their pancakes. And that's where the 60 bars of silver were hidden. So,
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
Now, is this a photo, and then who did this artwork? Are you an artist? I'm an artist. Are you an artist, or is this someone else's painting?
It used to be. What, the picture of the man? Or what?
Using a gray outfit or jean maybe with all wells in the background. Let's see. It says commissioned by Louis Metacia.
Okay, so Louis Metacia is my father, and he commissioned a famous artist to do some artwork about him. about his work because his work was, again, worldwide. I mean, I get calls from all over. I mean, Switzerland and the Philippines. I mean, right now I get 12 calls a year easily from the Philippines to find the general's hidden treasure overseas. And,
wow.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, a lot of them can't afford it. They can't pay for it. They just want everything free. But every once in a while, somebody will pay me to try to find the treasure. It's a very interesting type of project to work on. Al Capone was easier. It was not booby-trapped. In the Philippines, everything's booby-trapped. In Germany, I had a client who went out, got out of his car, started using his metal detector, went to a site I sent him to, and in 7 minutes he found items from the Dark Ages. Dowsing is amazing. It just helps you pinpoint. You can use your psychic ability, but dowsing also embellishes the skills. So it's great.
Well, I want to talk to you about everything and how you developed that. We've got 2 hours here to do This Is Your Life. I'm surprised Tommy's not here because he is always here on Sunday. We've been doing it 4 to 6, and I'm really surprised because he always calls me, and I haven't heard from him. So, Tommy, if you're out there, Ginette and I will just continue on. I'm sure that we can give you a copy of the show. We're in our ACO, our Ascension Center Organization, is our largest federally, our federal number Ascension Center Organization. We have ACE Folklife, Historical Society, ACE Metaphysical Institute, and a lot of our groups. And we do work with Edgar Cayce quite a lot, all those. And I've talked to some of the women about doing something down here where I live for those people that are interested. Plus, we work with MUFON, Mutual UFO Network, and we're a Society of Professional Journalists. And Jenny and I crossed each other in social media on LinkedIn, and I had no clue. I still really don't who she is, but I have to go with my guts. And she apparently felt okay with me, so I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I'm hoping we're co-creators together, Jenny. It looks like we're on the similar path. So I don't think you know much about me except what you saw maybe a little bit on LinkedIn. So we haven't shared all our websites or what all, but let's talk about how you got into all this. So are you saying that from the age 7, because I died in the 2nd grade myself and saw angels. I had hepatitis A. It was they never did figure out, the disease control in the 50s, but they took out my blood back in the day when they were just starting in 57. I remember being out and seeing Sputnik go over, but I was in the 2nd grade going to Mitchell Elementary, but I actually got hepatitis and left my body. Remember seeing the angels come to the top of the room, and I knew from then on I was going to be okay. And then they commissioned me to go out to Los Alamos and White Sands, and at that age, and I had found out my uncles worked in the UFO business out there, but it's a really strange path for a little girl. So can you go back? Did you say that your first near-death was at 7, or just your father got you interested in dowsing at 7? Let's do your life from back when you were little, when you started developing skills.
Sure. I learned about the dowsing at 7, but I did have a near-death at 7. I still have the scar from it. I was running from the babysitter and got sliced up in the head with barbed wire, barbed wire. And my babysitter put me to bed all bloody and everything. And, I was laying there crying how painful it was. And some people walked in the room. And I was like, gosh, who are they? And I thought it was a priest praying for me. And he goes, I am your real father. And I said, okay. And he goes, I'm here to help you. And these 2 people are going to come in, and they're your real parents, and they're going to heal you. And we're going to heal you. And he took his finger and he healed my head and said, this is a healing, and I'm going to show you your past lives. And I'm going to show you several things, how your life is going to change, and everything's going to change at 27. And you'll know because Shirley MacLaine is going to write a book about it, and they said the word come out about it. Well, my mom looked similar to Shirley MacLaine, so that's how I knew who Shirley MacLaine was. Plus, I lived in Arlington, Virginia, and Shirley MacLaine was from Arlington, Virginia.
Oh,
so
my. I didn't even know that.
Yes.
How about that? You know a lot more than I do about all this. Well, keep going. It's a good story, because I did follow out on a limb, because I remember where I was in '86, watching it on television with my children in the Navy. I worked at Navy Regional Finance Center in Great Lakes, and I'd just finished my hospital corpsman ACE school and my personnel and information security and weapon training, all at that year. So when that came on, I was like, me and my kids had to sit down and watch it. And I knew she was a great dancer, and I liked her TV or movies. But she had her own psychic channeler or something. But you want to fill me in on how you got familiar with her again, and let's go with that.
Basically,
that's
during the
near
death, they were just telling me, you will know, because the trigger is Shirley MacLaine. When Shirley MacLaine comes out, everything will change for you at 27. And at 27, I was back in the hospital. I had kidney failure, and I died in the hospital. And then I came back again, and a week later, I was in a car wreck in the hospital, I think for a day or so. But the first time when I was 27, I was in the hospital, I think about 2 weeks. But what had happened was Shirley MacLaine came out with her book like a week before that happened to me. And I do remember them saying, watch out for Shirley MacLaine. And I said, wow, I'm going to have something to do with the paranormal or something like that. I didn't know. I just thought, well, that's weird. And I thought, I'm not going to meet her. It's just something to do with this. So I went to the other side, and I actually, on that particular time, I didn't get to see the angels on the ceiling. I got to, I guess I was out of my body because I died, and I got to walk in an area that looked like fog, and suddenly I was upstairs in the heavens, and I was surrounded by people that said they were my relatives from previous lives. And it was awkward because some of the people were speaking foreign languages, and I thought, speak English, speak English, speak English. And then a lot more happened to me. I got to meet people, and I got to be told, go in this line because that's the line that's going to go back. And I said, oh, okay, good, because I'd like to go back. If you don't mind, what can I do for you so I can go back? I never got married. I never had kids. And, they just said, we want you to go find missing people. And I said, okay, I'll do it. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do it. If they said become a chef, I would have said, yeah, sure. If they said become a ditch digger, I probably would have said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. You're unsure of your situation because it feels like you're in your physical body, but I really think you're an orb personally, just a theory I have. Because you feel like you're still there. Even though you stop breathing, you feel like you're still breathing. I don't know if you experienced that when you were...
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't wait to... Yeah, my story, of course, it's been out here for years on this radio show, but different parts of it. But definitely... when I died, when I was 23, given placenta previa, I came right out the top of my head this time. So, the first time I was a little girl, I guess they left me hovering above my bed. I mean, I remember sitting in these cute little pajamas with little red cupids on them my mother had bought for me and looking at them. But my body... my psychic body or your orb body or whatever you want to call it, because we're trying to find folks how to talk to each other's psychic. We're all mystics, oracle, psychics, sages, seers, shaman, and light workers, truth seekers, starseeds, since Shirley MacLaine. So what it is just catching up with each other on what we've done on this planet because we talk in 3D. But me going at placenta previa, fourth child born, and they had to cut her out of me. So I was already in I had placenta previa at home, so I'd lost a huge part of my placenta. So I was bleeding out profusely. And my mother knew what was going on. She just lived about 10 minutes away. She came running over at 4:35 in the morning, raced me to the hospital. The doctor wasn't there yet, but she'd called them. And anyway, by the time they got me there and hooked up to the equipment, I had a slow bleed, but I didn't know I was bleeding out. But I remember them hooking the baby monitor and mine up in the little room to the side. And then I said, finally the doctor came in. I said, "Doctor, am I going to die?" And he looked in my eyes and said, "No, if I can help it." But he zoomed me immediately. It wasn't like 45 minutes on a slow bleed. I don't know why that morning it just popped the cork or whatever. But by the time I'd lost pretty much all my blood, I think they said maybe one pint. Because I did die from lack of blood, and then they cut me open to take the baby out. So I went up through my head and watched the clock to see what time, but I don't remember what time. But saw her, so I put the baby's print on. But I went up through the ceiling and went through stars and got all kind of information into my head. I was able to come back and do some stuff. But I went up, and I call it I've divided it up into Uni, Multi, Meta, Xeno, and Omni, 5 levels, and up to Alpha and Omega. But I call him Tommy. I hope he comes on. But different people call it different things. And I was very shocked because this time I didn't stop at the room. I went through, I went on through various, I call them universes. So it's going to be interesting with somebody like you that's had similar experiences, because Tommy and Janet are the only 2 people that started this with me in 2012. But they both had out of body. So I'm really looking forward. There's been professionals wanting me to do more, but I haven't had the time because of death and dying in my family. So this is exciting, Jenny. I know we're brought together, but I know what you're talking about, the people, because to me, you're out of body and you're talking. You feel like you're talking with your voice, but it's really like in your head. But it's like when you talk to yourself. But these people could talk back to me, but we weren't using our mouths. So, it's going to be hard to explain, but I'm looking forward to how you do it. So go right ahead. That lets you know that I did know I was talking to beings that, gold orb beings or whatever. We can talk at beings at different levels. So you actually went to what you call heaven or the other side, and that's fine that many of us do call it heaven and angels, or lack of better words, extraterrestrial, whatever. So you're talking now, did you go up any more levels, or do you even know? I was able to figure out for some reason, but it took me years to get to that.
Yeah. See, because
I died later too. But let's go back to your story.
Right. Well, the thing is, on that particular near death, I would bet there were stars there, and then all of a sudden I was in the fog, and then I was walking around talking to people, and then the next thing I know, people are there in white outfits and telling me, I'm looking at them, and I said, I guess I'm dead, eh? And
okay.
And, they go, well, you're not there anymore. And what's really funny was the hospital had unhooked the IV was still in me, but they had unhooked a few other things off of me. So the IV was on, and I was in my room alone, but there was no way the hospital, they could have known I died, but which I have to get the paperwork on, but that was the only thing hooked in me. There were no alarms hooked on me for any kind of dying and that kind of thing, to my knowledge. What was that? I mean, they didn't have the pulse hooked up, I guess you call it. But anyway, heart monitor, whatever. But what's interesting is there were some stars and then the fog and so forth, but they sent me to my left and introduced me to a couple people. One of them was a doctor that was in front of me, and they said, oh, he's going back. And I said, okay, well.
Sounds like a TV show, no offense.
It was.
It's like listening to me, but go ahead.
Well,
he's going back.
They
really said that in your head to you?
They told me he was going back, and they said, you're going back, and this other guy behind me was going back. And they said, so I knew he was a doctor because they were talking to him and like Dr. Da-da-da. And I didn't write it down like a dummy. And I should have, and because he would have recognized me because he kept turning around. And I remember he had silver whitish hair, and
wow.
But he was a medical doctor. And I thought, oh, okay, so one day maybe I'll meet him, So, when you talked about all those levels, we'll have to talk about that at another time because I'm not familiar with that, but I'm sure there's something applicable to that near-death situation. I think what's interesting is the third one, the one we were just talking about, was very informational. The last one, which happened, I think, 20 years ago, I was in the hospital on the operating table. I'm from the D.C. area, so I'm from Northern Virginia. but I'm from Charlottesville, so, both areas. But what was interesting is I was in D.C. at Sibley Hospital, and the tech was stealing the anesthesia. And how you get paralyzed?
That's some guy, nurse that was taking some drug and making everybody get hepatitis C. Oh, my God.
Right.
A med tech. I don't know if you followed that story. Oh, my God. They were stealing it? Anesthesia.
They were stealing it, and people were dying. And I died, but the ceiling did open on that one. And the angels came through, and this angel came through, and she was speaking a foreign language, and it sounded sort of Russianish. And at the same time, some fantastic music was coming through, and she was screaming upstairs like she was talking to God. She goes, I need some help. And down flies down these, I guess they look like angels, but they were very different looking. It's sort of scary at first. And then they transformed, and they looked like all blonde angels. And they were all in white, and they just flew down. I mean, like, zippity-doo-dah quick, just from left to right. It was like, boom, automatically there. And I had the one that came first was on my right shoulder. Then I had like 8 finally, or 9 on the body, pushing me back into my body, because I remember raising above my body on the operating table, because I had a 20-pound tumor they were taking out. And I guess the tumor job was too hard to take, so a second doctor was called in, and I had tears coming down my face, and I remember the nurse saying, why does she have tears? Because I was crying because I could feel the pain of them cutting me open and taking out the freaking tumor.
Gosh.
And I sort of blew it off, because eventually I guess I got some more anesthesia, and they rolled me in my room and gave me some more painkillers. And the doctor came in, and he said to me, Janette, you died on the operating table. Are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm fine. And he said, are you going to sue us, or what's going to happen here? Because I need to get lawyers. I said, no, you saved my life. Why would I sue you? And then, stupidly, 10 years later, I saw an article in the newspaper about how the anesthesiologist got caught, and that was the same exact time when I was in the hospital at Sibley Hospital. And I just thought, oh, my God, I guess I could have sued, because I actually died. And he had told me I flatlined. And, it was just one of those things. It's a lot more complicated than I'm telling you. I think what was interesting to me was that the beautiful music came down. My psychic abilities became stronger. They grew in a more, I don't know the word I want to use, more of a sensitivity, higher sensitivity. And then, of course, it happened when I first got married. And then I guess 10 years later, I'm now known for the Kaylee Anthony case. And a lot of people don't know, I also did the Chandra Levy case and like 25 others. And I didn't go public on most of them because, I had young girls and daughters, and I just didn't want to deal with too much publicity. So now I just get the publicity. It is what it is. And
interesting.
And now,
and I didn't know about any of that, except I mentioned something. I saw Kaylee Anthony on, I think it was LinkedIn. I think that's on. You know how you have friends, and I don't know if we were already friends or if we just happened to be friends, or you were suggested or I suggested, but I don't even know how we got together. But I'm excited because I saw the name Kaylee. It's Kaylee Anthony, isn't it?
It is. Mm-hmm.
And that was.
You should tell me your story. Yeah.
Well, I want to tell you mine, but I guess we can both do it here. I was very strangely. How can I say this? I was working on a case with Kentucky, and the state was we didn't have in Kentucky yet the private investigator's license. So I had one through Birmingham in Alabama, and I had worked in law enforcement criminal justice and as a investigator or paralegal in Houston. So I was trying to get this to follow from Texas to Houston to New York, and then back down to where I was in Kentucky. But I'd already driven a truck for 8 years. I had clearances in the government and then driving a big truck because I could go on bases that other people couldn't. So I thought it'd be relatively familiar, but Kentucky didn't have one, so I had to go back through the process. And so I met a gentleman there, and it was during that time, and then a gentleman that was doing UFO business, I guess they wouldn't ever tell me his name, but I know who he is now, but he was I think he's retired now in Canada, but he was interested in me, had people approach me about my stories. So people were getting my stories from me, but I didn't have any publicity or websites or anything like that. I had, prior to in the government, J. Allen Hynek, which was in the UFO business, had gotten in touch with me and flown on a plane with me, and then he died, and I haven't talked to his secretary or a girl that had moved out, but we were supposed to all work together. So it's a really strange thing that things all came up with this back then in 80s, and I was embarrassed to talk about, but Kaylee came to see me, and I guess she had already passed over. So I'm putting all this together, but I haven't professionally put all the threads in my Woman in Black story yet, but it's coming. So you're a part of that, Jenny, because I want to know intelligently how we can speak to each other of individuals that are as real as any police officer, uniform I've worn, military, otherwise, are being spiritual and being a minister and believing in spirit afterwards too. But scientifically, it's really hard to talk about. So Kaylee coming to me was sort of hard because I had a granddaughter named Kaylee, and so I didn't know what the connection was. But my mother saw something on the news or something. I was walking in and out of her house, and Stanton Friedman was involved, and this guy from Kentucky. There was a whole bunch of things going on with police officers getting, law enforcement, investigators in Kentucky, and then getting on television shows, and I had ABC producers trying to get me for something. All this during that time, but I wasn't interested in any of that. So my mother just said, why don't you see what you can, see if you have anything, because she had dreams about jets falling and things, and her mother before her, they're all from Ireland, sort of red-haired ladies, and I guess they had the gift, but I had it when I was younger, and so I guess that's when the government recruited me in 1967, but this is after my daughter died and all that, which you know. But the little girl came to me like in a vision, not a dream, but a vision, and then she would, because I wouldn't do anything about it, she started coming in my dreams. So I finally figured, okay, this little girl's not going to let me rest. So I told Mother about it. She said, well, she saw this lady, and Mother was not a publicity hound. She wasn't at all. She was a very quiet soul, although she did write for newspaper magazines in Houston at one time. But she was already retired. But she said, well, why don't you, that lady, we were in a little Beaver Dam Cafe, and she saw the lady and showed me Nancy Summit. But I wasn't up on all this. My mother was on Facebook, but I was very busy. So anyway, I said, okay, well, I'll just send her that this little girl's bothering me and that, I can see where she's buried. So I sent it to her, but I didn't follow the stories afterwards until way later on. Something came up about the girl that I saw something about the mother, and that I think her father said something about, I don't know if it was connived or something about a swimming pool, but what my guts were showing me was the vision she was showing me. So I told Mother that, well, she was dead, and she said, but how do you know that? I said, well, whatever this is about, you mentioned Kaylee, my granddaughter, your granddaughter, and that feeling you got in the film, and you said, why don't I see? I said, so now I'm having dreams. I don't know if you put her in my head or she did, but now she's come to me. And I don't know if it's the empathic for my own, but that's what I related it to, was I had recently had a little granddaughter. She's about 13 or 14 now, but Kaylee and a granddaughter, so there was an empathic thread. So I told Mom, I said, well, she's dead and she's buried, and I can see it as a television show in my head, but I can't, I don't know what to do with it, Mom. I'm not a practicing real psychic right now. I mean, I don't know. So whatever it was, I emailed it, I think, at that time, because I was with AOL. Mother had got me on Facebook with AOL, so I sent it to, but nothing ever came of it. So I remember seeing her like on the news one night on a TV where she was talking to a glass to her mother and dad, so I have that memory. But then it seemed like one thing on the news was that she got off. And nobody in my world, because I wasn't into the psychic realm or I trained over 1,500 psychics back in Hawaii and, had a huge company over there, but I wasn't doing it like Psychic Network. The blonde that met me in California in 93 over our names, Psychic Network, she went on and added the clerks that told her, because I had Psychic Network, and this was before we had the internet and domain names, but she said, well, why can't y'all just get along? So we were fighting over it. But she said, but I've got Dan Warwick, blah, blah, blah. I said, I don't care. I'm doing an expo right here with Willie Nelson, so what? But she was like, okay, well, just y'all decide something. So the clerk said, just add the name Friends. And so, can't y'all be friends? I said, fine. You do Psychic Friends. I've got Psychic Network, but I'm keeping it. So I've still got Psychic Network. She did Psychic Friends, made billions of dollars, and I went on doing me. But this thing with Kaylee was the one thing that stuck in my craw, because I didn't know. Michael Jackson came to me when he died, same thing. So I do realize I can see dead people, but they're really not dead, because I believe in immortality, having death and dying. But I didn't know that people would really bug you. So it was sort of like Ghost. So that's my story. So now tell me your story, because you had a Kaylee Anthony, what was it, a vision, a premonition? I had vision and dream. What do you have?
Okay, so I'm on sort of a deadline because I got to drive up to D.C. in just a few minutes. So I'm going to tell you real quick. Yeah, no, the trains are having problems because of Eta, the hurricane or storm. And my husband is a train driver for Amtrak. So I got to go get him in D.C. So let me just tell you what happened, so that so that your listeners
okay, we'll do this part,
say,
folks, and then I'll answer your calls. A lot of them are showing up for psychic readings. They always do, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it's always fun to attack those. Let's do that, too. So I'll just tell you stuff, and then we'll attack a few phone calls. So, because I just love doing that. So, I got a phone call from a man who approached my father to locate missing people. My father doesn't do it. He told the man he didn't do it. And the man called me, and the man said, can you train me? And I said, yeah, sure. But I got to tell you, some people are just not trainable, and he was one of those. So he called me and said, look, there's this missing girl. Can you help me? And he introduced me to Dominic Casey on the phone and so forth. But what had happened in the beginning was I got a vision and a vision and a vision and a vision, and I said, okay, so she's down the street from the house, but you go to this corner house and go behind the house, and that's where she is, in the back of the house, in the back. And what happened was I said, the weeds are really high. It's a foreclosure. I said, you can't miss it. And this was in May or June, whenever the kid went missing. And they were like, that can't be. She's alive. She's alive. I said, you know what? We all want them to all be alive, but it doesn't always happen. And I said, so I kept telling them, she's not on the street corner, sitting there saying, come get me, you dummy. And I said, we do have tragedies, and period. I mean, it just is what it is. And so I worked with those two guys. I told them the information. They didn't want to hear it. And so I guess Dominic kept being in the news about everything. And I said, listen, you guys, they kept calling me periodically. And I said, send me something of the little girls so I can touch it and double check the visions. And if the visions are the same, then the item is just reconfirming it's the same. The consistency is there. So let's say something's missing and I say, oh, go buy this and stand there, and the picture or the vision is the same. It's like a postcard to me. And I said, well, I got the item. It was a teddy bear in the mail. And I said, well, the visions are the same. And I said, I keep seeing you leave the house where the family lived, and you go straight ahead. You take a right, and you take a right, and I see a Suburban. Well, I didn't know it. It was Suburban Street. And they never told me there was a Suburban Street. And I said, Suburban. And
well, but you got the words right? You got the words and psychometry right.
Yeah,
you do
but
psychometry.
you're right, but a long time later I found out, it was Suburban Street.
Suburban Street.
I was like, or Avenue, whatever. And I said, go in the back, because I also, once I got the teddy bear, I said I had a dream. She said, and she was communicating with me, and she said, go past these 3 pavers, and I saw 3 ground pavers. And this is what a psychic does. You use it as a landmark, and then you measure. It's like a surveyor. You measure, and then you also use it as an azimuth. An azimuth is a direction you go in to find the missing person. And my father's a surveyor, so I knew this. And so I kept sending him. So I kept sending him over there, and he went like right next to her, and pieces of her were right there. And he goes, I can't do this. There's snakes. Yeah, he goes, there's snakes here and everything. And I said, well, then go call the cops and tell them, because I can smell her right through the phone.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And
so
I said,
she did bury her in the where the animals were, right? It was
right. But what happened when it first occurred is right after she buried her, bad weather came in, and it was next to a ditch, and the ditch overflowed and released the body into the ditch, and the animals came after her even more. It's like your deceased cat, you know. And
that's where she buried her animal before?
Correct.
Wasn't there something about her burying something there?
Yes. Well, it was their little hideaway spot, so if they had an animal that died, they would bury it there. So then she buried her daughter there, but I don't think she's the one who put it there. I think her brother or her dad put it there personally. That's just my opinion. But then what happened was, and I'm not a news hound, they weren't calling the cops. They weren't calling the media to say it's over. Excuse me, here's where she is. You know, I was like, tell him it's over, that you found her. He wouldn't do it, and he wouldn't do it, and he wouldn't do it. And I said, that's it, I'm done here. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, I'm done. So I called Fox News, and I said, listen, I think I just found where Kaylee Anthony is. Dominic Casey went out into the area. He says she's right there. He believes she's right there. There's pieces of bones and stuff. And he is not calling you guys to say it's over. He needs to call the cops. I want my letter of reference. That's all I'm asking. Just do me a favor and get it over with. I have other casework. Let's move on. So you
called Fox News.
I'm pretty sure I called Fox because NBC didn't call me back. NBC always talks to me. I mean, always. I mean, I've been dealing with NBC for years. And every time I called, they just wouldn't return my call. And, I mean, I don't know what the heck that was about.
I didn't get a call.
Like,
I don't even know who. What is that Nancy Grace on? What channel does she work?
Oh, no, that's CNN. She's
that's
CNN.
HLN. Okay,
CNN.
Excuse me.
She's
well, I didn't even know. Okay, all right.
But I didn't call Nancy. I called NBC, and I called my contacts with NBC. And I said, listen, it is over. And because it was all over the news all the time. And I was like, it needs to stop. There are other people that need to find their loved ones. There's other news going on. And they were making such a profound media event, circus event out of it. It was ridiculous. And there are other people that are trying to find their grandma who's got dementia that's missing and so forth. And I was just like,
busy,
I'm done
right?
here.
You were actually doing this as a professional, full time.
Right, but the problem, yes, but I was also a mommy of 2 young girls, and I was like, I don't have time to, I don't have time for this. I got to cook, I got to clean, I got to drive them to school, yada yada. Enough is enough. And then I guess it hit round robin with the media, and they all went a little crazy. The next step or the next level. And
so they called you back and got you involved?
No, I talked to Fox, and they moved forward, and I said, call the cops or I will. And they said, okay. And then Detective Allen called me, and he goes, what the hell's going on? I said, she's right there. And I said, he went there. And it was just ridiculous. I mean, if I
So you had a psychometry hit, plus somebody had called you to train them, and instead you got involved personally as a psychic. Using your skills and your psychometry, your hits. So your visions played out. It's sort of like I see visions, you see visions. Is that what happened?
I use all of the above. Yeah, I don't do tarot very much, but
good.
Yeah,
I do too. I prefer tools. I don't know why. Maybe I'm old school because a lot of the women these days just do without the tools. But I'm old school, I guess. I like the tools. I use tarot. Well, good. I've done psychometry at some of the psychic, fairs and psychic bookstores I used to work at in Hawaii. Well, that's good to know. But how did you get, so this was interesting that you put that, but that's because I guess that's how people knew your name Janette, right, was because of the Kaylee. That sort of put you on the metaphysical map or the spiritual or with television shows, or what happened exactly?
No, they never called me. You know what happened, which was hilarious, was during the Kaylee Anthony case, everybody had my old telephone number on the Internet. And this poor woman got like 2,000 calls, and they called her house, and I called her and said, hey, listen, I was just in the news. Please give them my name and number. And she goes, hell no, I'm not giving them your name and number. I want you guys to stop calling me. And I said, well, give them my name and number, and they'll stop calling you.
Oh,
my
name
goodness.
And number.
And they couldn't reach me, and they did all these things without me. And I was like, okay, God has a plan. Don't worry about it. And the next thing you know, the two guys, Casey, Luke Phillips and Dominic Casey, were saying nasty stuff about me, saying, oh, I said she was in Puerto Rico. I said, no, you guys came to me and said, let's tell people she's in Puerto Rico so we can get, meaning they could get a free trip to Puerto Rico. And I said,
goodness.
No, I'm not going to, I'm not going to do that. And they said, because then they started.
You saw them right there, close to her home.
Yeah, I stopped them. Oh, yeah, they go, oh, no, we think that, a drug mule took her to Puerto Rico to use her for, ransom. I said, she's deceased and down the street. Stop. And I said, it has something to do with this other family, and I don't know why. And then it turned out that was her best friend's house, in the backyard, in the back of the yard. You know how you have a house with a quarter of an acre, and then you go back 2 more acres, like another acre, and that's where the body was. And it
Not
was
very
on
far at
Suburban
all.
Street. No, but the papers were there, and that was the landmark, and that's why you see Dominic Casey. I said, if I'm wrong and she's not right next to the house, she could have been buried there, because I said, I think they moved her, but I think she was buried in the garden and then moved back in the back of the house. And I said, but this house is just so prevalent, it's too easy. And he finally went out and gave it a shot. But, he got shot in the foot because basically he tries to get involved with these high-end cases. He's not a PI. He is a PI under the auspices of a lawyer. I'm a former PI. I mean, people will say all sorts of crap about me on the Internet, but I am a former PI. And so I went to PI school to see if that would complement my psychic work. It doesn't.
Yeah.
You're still under the auspices of weirdo if you're called a psychic.
I noticed. I hate the word, but unfortunately people, they use that for entertainment purposes, but at the same time, if you don't use it, nobody can find you anyway. So it's just a thing that sticks. I've got a lot of other names I use, but it doesn't matter because I wasn't wanting to be doing the work, really. So I'm just getting back with 8 years doing radio shows and helping people, but I'm glad that you and I crossed paths and that it was Kaylee that brought us together. And we named my granddaughter Kaylee with a K, K-A-L-I, like Kali, the goddess of Chaos, India. Cute. But Kaylee with K-A-Y-L-E-E. I've got a couple of nieces named the same thing. So it was very odd that was a popular name at that particular time when people pick certain names, which I love synchronicities. But so your psychic abilities, you had near-death experiences. And what do they call it? I've used the water witch, copper, I guess,
dowsing.
where they would cross. What is that? I've used them, but what are they?
They're dowsing rods, L rods. Yeah.
L rods. Okay, I've used those years and years ago in my 20s. I was just starting, but so have you gotten really good with those yourself in dowsing?
Oh, yeah, that's what I use most of the time to find missing people or water wells. I have to find a water well next week. I'm doing buried treasure. I've got like 5 buried treasure projects from pirates to I also find missing objects. My specialty, that's one of my specialties. Right now, that's not my focus. People can look me up in the Smithsonian Magazine. I found 2 missing objects for a journalist who wrote an article about dowsing. And that was in the 1998 Smithsonian Magazine January issue. And I was the only one to find the missing objects.
You have some credentials, girl.
Oh, I do. I'm in books, Reader's Digest books on the paranormal, and I mean the list goes on and on and on and on, But anyway, so I've got to go. But I would love to help you with any of your callers in really quick, and then I'll go if you want to take a couple real quick.
Okay, sure, yeah, folks. We appreciate you calling in and hanging in there. Anybody that wanted to talk to Jenny, Tommy, and Suzanne aren't here today. 214, you're live and on the air with TJ and Jenny. How are you today? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, how are you?
Are you calling in for a reading, or did you want to ask Janette a question? Or I've got three people behind you. She can't stay very long, but let's get to know Janette today, and I'll do readings during the week too. But just tell us your name and where you're calling from, and direct your question or answer or whatever to Janette, if you don't mind.
Well, I didn't have a particular question. I just wanted to see if you can give me a general reading. And my name is Liz from Dallas.
Liz from Dallas.
Oh.
Janette, do you want to pull your tarot, or you want me to, or what's up? This is our first time, folks, working together. So live on the air, Janette.
I don't have time to do that. I do have time to do questions. So because a reading takes, time. Normally I would, but I'm limited. I got to rush off to D.C. So if you want to work out a reading time with her, do that, please. And then let's just talk to people who might have a quick question. Do you have a quick question at all?
Yeah, let's talk about my marriage. I was thinking about possibly eventually getting a divorce. I don't know what decision to make with that.
Okay, so, all right, so you're thinking about it? I mean, so here's my deal. Is your husband is turning his back to you, which is A, he's ignoring you, and B, he's facing west, which means to me if you do divorce, he's going to move away at a distance. And so you got to be careful because financially, do you lean on him a lot for all your money?
Yes, I do.
Ooh.
Okay, because you can't. I don't think you'll be able to count on him. You'll have to go get HUD housing. You're going to have to make a plan. So you don't just go out and say, I'm going to have a divorce. You go out and you get HUD housing, and you talk to social services. Do you have children?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my.
So you need to make a plan before you jump, before you leap, because
maps are very important. You got to know where to go, right? You got to have that map.
Yeah, you've got to make a plan because this guy will just cut you off really fast. And you know what? I'm totally fine with you divorcing him, but I got to tell you, when a man turns his back to a woman, that means he's not going to help you. So you're on your own, and if you don't have college behind you, it's time to go back to school. And hospitals are so desperate for nurses. In every category, you may want to go find out what grants are available for going back to school for nursing, because they make really good money, and they will pay for your schooling. And sometimes they pay for your daycare and so forth. But you better map out a plan, okay?
Okay.
Good job. And I got the Ace of Pentacles for you in the night on a white horse. So I'm sure there's another gentleman that will be coming to you in the near future. So stay tuned and call us back during the week. Thank you. All right, let's do 520. Let me make sure I've got you on. Let's see. I didn't cut you off, did I, Jenny? You still here?
No, I'm here. You're hearing coughing. I'm still here.
Okay. Yeah, I always have a lot of calls, but let me get this one. I can do some after you leave. 520. Hi, can you hear me? This is TJ.
Oh, my God. Yes. Hi. Hi.
Hi, who is this?
This is Lisa calling you. Hi, I'm so glad. Thank you. I didn't think
Sure, Lisa. Where are you calling from? And this is Ginette, and this is the first time to work with her on Psychic Network here with TJ Mars CT Radio, but she's really good. She's very well known, and we hope to have her back in the future, but she's got plans today. I sort of asked her to be spontaneous today. So you're calling in from Arizona, or where are you now?
Yes, I am, and thank you so much. And I was listening to your conversation. I had to kind of space myself away from it because I don't have the abilities you all do, and I love children. And I hate to hear about, but anyway.
Tragedies.
Okay.
Yeah.
God, my question is, please, I'm in a very long-term relationship, and I'm trying to leave, and I'm trying to line up my ducks, meaning all the financial stuff that we're tied into. And I'm wondering when you see me being able to actually exit, and will it be, all the stuff we have between us is all legally written out. It's all clearly spelled out, how it should, who goes to what and all that. But do you see him trying to cause any problems for me as far as, trying to get a lawyer or that kind of thing?
This is Janette. I don't think he gives a crap. I think it's all about him. Honestly, I just, my first impression is, he may act emotional every once in a while, but the least you see him, the less emotional he'll be to you. So I'm going to say, let it go. I think he's very selfish, and you know what? It's time for him to grow up. That old cliche, pull up your bootstraps and walk. And but he seems to be very focused on his own agenda. And I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm saying that he has another plan, and he seems to be indifferent. So if this is a divorce, I don't think it's even going to bug him. You cannot share your private life with him whatsoever. For any particular reason, no, but I just don't think it's a good idea. It's called filtering. Don't share it. Don't do it, period. And is your family – there's also a problem with a family member. Is your father or brother really pissed at him?
Oh, I don't know. But so you don't see him trying to get a lawyer or trying to get representation against me, then?
No, I've got cards for sort of a rainbow spiritual watch over you. And also, there is something about I don't know, Ginette, how you feel about this in the tarot, but it's like somebody watching over her like in the church, but it's like a Five of Pentacles. Do you get a hit off of any of that meaning, Ginette?
All I'm saying is that I think that this is a perfect time for you, and if somebody else is watching out for you, the moon is changing again on the 18th. Get it done quickly. Yeah, and it's all in a good format. Do you see how Trump went out and Biden came in? Big things are happening, and it's almost like magical, but I don't want to use that word. So it's odd, and so all these weird things are happening. So I think everything is if it's a fair situation, I think he will just walk, because he's looking a different way. He's looking around, and I don't know why I want to say this, but I almost want to say Vegas. Like, he may go there and like be a party animal because he's like, oh, this is done. And of course, he may come back and try to talk to you, but don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm completely done with it, and I think everything you're saying is so. It's not like far-fetched or anything like that. I just didn't want him to. No, it was all we divvied this up. We've got legal stuff all signed and on the dotted line. So I was just worried that he would try to prevent me from getting anything at all.
I don't think so. I think he's like, you did all the paperwork. It's all fair. Let's move on. And everything in the moon and the stars are on your favor. I hate to say that, but it does feel like
that's good. That's a good thing.
Yeah, you're going in the right direction. It's all good. Thank you
feel
for calling.
Good about it, and come back and see us, okay, Lisa? Feel
Thank
good
you
about
so
it.
Much.
Okay,
I do.
Yep.
All right.
So we'll take one more, and then I got to get on the road to D.C.
Okay, let me let Tommy say
Washington,
hi to you, because he didn't get a chance, and he did finally show up. So there's several calling in right now, but Tommy's used to helping me. But Jenny would love to have you come back on. We'll make a show if you'd like to, because I always have plenty of people that want help, and then they can get back in touch with you at their leisure. Tommy, say hi to Ginette. Her name is Ginette with a G.
Hey, Janette, Tommy here. Greetings.
Hey. Hi, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing good. I always try to get on TJ. Sometimes I call, I don't get no answer, so I don't wait. And I wait for her to call me back, but she didn't call me at all, so I didn't know if she was doing it or not.
Right. I couldn't get. I was just thinking you were going to have to produce the show for me and Jenny today, but she's got other plans. She has to go pick up her husband. He works for Amtrak, and she's in Virginia, moving to D.C. Tommy. But I just want you two to get to know each other, so maybe she can come back on a Sunday or a Wednesday or even a Tuesday or Thursday, whatever her schedule will allow. So introduction, you know.
Yep. So it was great to meet you, Tommy. I'm going to jump in the car and go to D.C., and we'll talk another time, and we can even talk on air, all right?
Okay, thank you, Jenny, and I'll make sure Tommy understands. We're growing and creating together, Jenny, so I hope people like us together. Thank you for being so generous and helping us on our show today, Jenny.
Yeah, absolutely. Seriously, it's fun. It's great. I'll come back.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's so nice meeting you live on the air, folks. That's Jenny and Matasha Lucas. Ginette. You got my Ginette, though, right?
Yeah, it's Ginette Lucas, and it's reachginette.com. So it's GINETTE.com. All right, so I'm going to go, and TJ, we'll keep in touch. I can talk easily tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm booked with a water well. So, all right.
Okay, well, you call me, and let's just whenever you can. You got my number, but we'll be able to do something tomorrow, and then we'll set up maybe something regularly, and we'll talk about the pros and cons of all those things we talked about, proposals and books and shows and videos and all that. Love and light, dear. You did a wonderful job. Thank you so much for your help today.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that's wonderful. So, folks, we got to meet Ginette Matasha Lucas, very well-known, famous psychic. And, Tommy, I apologize to you. I had all kind of trouble, even though I've got some stuff I'd love to tell you, but I'm going to have to tell you off air because we've had some mysterious men in black things happening. It wasn't just our imagination. So I've got to tell you, some people showed up but I don't need to say it on air, but it's amazing. Apparently we're making a difference in the world, folks, especially in the psychic realms. And let me let Tommy introduce himself, and then we'll take some more calls. I'll do some readings. And Tommy usually likes to help me and teach, but we can get him to help go over on Skype and produce another show because we'll run out of time. Tommy, we got 47 minutes. Well, Tommy, give everybody your little spiel for the show because Jenny, I'm sure, would like to use this on her website as well. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, this is Tommy Hawksblood. I'm on the Big Island right now. There's just so much going on. I'm trying to keep up with everything. I mean, with this whole election, it was mind-boggling. I get like 200-300 emails a day, and I have to write at least 100 letters back. So I've been so busy trying to keep up with everything, and I'm just glad that we're shifting to a new energy. I mean, some people aren't going to be happy about it, but I say it's going to be a lot more able for people to get more spiritual, more connected, be more in tune with life than what it was for the past 4 years. I'm looking forward to an incredible changeover, and even at that, we have a woman vice president, black woman vice president. Trump's going to be playing games for the next 2 months.
She's mixed, but women.
Well, she's a
woman,
Indian.
for God's sake. My God, she's the first vice president. Clinton was up there, Hillary, and she had a wonderful background. But we got pros and cons on everybody. But they're all millionaires, folks. But thank you, Tommy. Yes, a woman, black and Indian, mixed, everything, wonderful, right?
And if anything happens to. Yeah, and if anything happens to Biden, we got a woman president.
Awesome.
I mean, if he comes down with the virus.
I'm sorry, folks. I'm a woman in this life. I may be a man in a woman's body, but right now I feel like a woman. I feel like a woman.
Just so you know, people.
I am woman. Hear me roar. Give us the power. What, Tommy?
There's a lot of things happening now. Anything about the virus, if you try to put any stories or any truth about it, you'll be in trouble.
So they don't want you freelance, independent journalists, reporters, or are you talking just social media?
Anybody.
Are you talking Facebook, LinkedIn? Okay, so did you get that from Associated Press or the government, or where are you getting your whose source are you citing?
I deal with 3 people, and 3 of them are all blocked over the past week, yesterday.
Well, I've been blocked a lot.
One person in England was arrested.
Oh, my
right,
God. My bills are paid, folks. It's not from lack of money. It's from people keeping me off the air, okay? Because psychics carry a lot of influence, don't they, Tommy?
Well, here's the thing. If you talk about certain things, you won't get in trouble. If you're talking about somebody's husband or wife, they're not going to come and get you. If you're saying the virus is
depends
real,
on the husband or wife.
Fake, but if you talk about
little humor, folks.
I'm saying,
uh-huh.
If you talk about somebody that's supposed to be getting the virus, you could do a citizen check and free rights and pull up the documents, and you can find out that it's a lot of different things going down.
All right, so we should mention, folks, seriously, that we do all things allowed by law, and we are a professional company, but Tommy and I represent Ascension Center Organization. We're bona fide Universal Life Ministers, registered with Modesto, California, in case you're interested. Plus, I'm registered here in Florida, and he's registered in Hawaii, but we've also been working together for Ascension Age for as long as he and I have had souls, for a few billion years, but you got to believe in that stuff. So we formed our own faith for metaphysicians, and it's very hard because Tommy likes the word witch, and he had a coven, and yet he's made a covenant with God to serve God as have I, so we serve God, and with a big G, and so we're doing everything we can to be of service health-wise, but we have to watch how we say things. So Tommy's just talking about the pandemic we're involved in the world. So, yes, be very careful on our shows today how we talk about what he said. Because I'm still on the show right now. But I had trouble getting oh, my God, Tommy, they wouldn't give me my buttons. And I've had people out here and turning – and Tommy, you know, you were accusing me, saying, well, if you ever work for the government, why do you have so much trouble with the phone? I mean, Tommy, you're getting pretty hard on me. We're ministers, but you were getting downright 3D on me. You know what I'm saying? It's not my fault. The men came out, and some of them apparently were men in black, literally. But go ahead and talk for a minute because I've got to answer the door. Okay, Tommy? Folks, stand by. We'll get you in just a minute. I've got to go answer the door, and I'm on a different – okay. Oh, gosh. Tommy, go ahead. I'll try to see if I can mute.
Here in Hawaii, we have so many things going on. No more what's happening right now. And no doing it. We have two people here, the twins, third phase of Moon. They got a couple sites up, and they put every video up every day of UFOs and sightings from around the world. And there's just so much happening. And if you want to see some things, it's a good site to check out because they've been putting all kinds of videos up. None of them are provable. Basically, a lot of things are not provable. But, I mean, when you see them and watch them, you can do whatever you want with the video and see it, tear it apart. And then you can decide if it's real or not. But when I go outside at nighttime, I got 3 people in the neighborhood that I tell. And one of them bought a laser from me. They're all watching the sky now. They're all seeing incredible things happen every night. So it's not like a strange thing or it's like a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Here in Hawaii, if you go out and the sky is clear, you're going to see something outrageous. I mean, at least a ship moving by or different things. So if you're into that stuff, I have a book out. It's a free PDF file on how to see a UFO field manual. If you never saw a UFO, if you want to see a UFO or you want techniques to work with that will help you see it for sure, just email me, text me, hawksblood1@AOL.com. It's about 200 pages, and I go into every aspect of it. I explain a couple of things like why would you want to see a UFO and things like that. But people create things, and we just hear about it. And what people don't know is where people really stand, like Trump, where he really stands on that, what's really happening in the world, the UFO world. People need to know. It's that time where it's going to be exposed greatly this coming year. Everything's coming out, and I'm saying a lot of good and bad things.
Tommy, is that you making all the noise, or do I have other people on? It's an awful lot of noise on
I don't know.
Can you hear it?
Somebody's
somebody
washing dishes.
Doing dishes.
Right.
Okay, I must have them on. I'm sorry. Sorry, Tommy. Okay, I had to answer the door. Let's see, 520 was on. I'm sorry, 520. Did we get you already?
Oh, God, I didn't realize. I thought you put me on mute. You didn't? Oh, my Lord.
I'm sorry, folks. Are y'all listening here? Did we already do you on 520? We did. Is this Lisa?
Sometimes I go to the bathroom. I'm glad I didn't go to the bathroom.
I did go to the bathroom. Did you hear me? I hope not. I heard a rooster. That must be Tommy. Oh, what a funny show. Well, Lisa, thanks. Let me get to... Woo, goodness, folks. It's been a day. 434, you're live and on the air. Lisa, I'm going to put you on hold, but come back during the week. I'm going to do this probably Thursdays with Suzanne and Tommy on Sunday. And something on Wednesday and Tuesday. So just catch me as you can, Lisa, and we'll get you a full coverage. All right, 434, you're live and on the air with TJ and Tommy this time. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name's Khalil, and I'm calling from Charlottesville, Virginia.
Your name is Khalil?
Yeah.
Wow, like Superman, Khalil?
That's Carlel, but my name's Khalil. It's like an Arabic name. It's kind of hard to pronounce sometimes.
Wow, and you're in California?
Charlottesville, Virginia.
Oh, you're in Charlottesville. That's the same. Are you a friend of Jenny's?
I don't really know Jenny.
Oh, Jenny's very famous. Jenny Matasha Lucas. She's been on a lot of radio and TV. It's reachjanette.com. She was just on. I was just asking because she's from Virginia. All right. How can we help you? Did you have a question for me or Tommy, or did you want a quick reading, or what's up for you?
I needed a reading. I was at this rally for the president.
Wow. Really? Which one?
Yeah, President Obama. Back in 2012.
Oh, but the real president, he's already been. He still has Secret Service. Okay, go ahead with your story, please.
I was wondering, I don't know if I've asked you this before. I may have asked you, I don't know. But I was wondering if the person that was sitting next to me, if they were like FBI or if they were Secret Service, because they were. My mind is refreshing me now because they were being very friendly and I was a little nervous of them.
Well, you were cleared because they don't let just anybody in, so they already knew everybody's cleared. Now this was back in Obama's time, but it was still during the time we had cell phones, so you wouldn't have been there close to the president had you not been cleared. Now, of course, there would be plenty of people in the audience. But if you had feelings, more than likely in your gut, it was probably true. So
probably FBI.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we have a lot of government people. I've worked with some. I've dated some. They're just humans, but they have different jobs. But is there anything that you're looking for to find out from me or Tommy, or you want a general reading? Because I don't ever remember you talking to me. Personally.
I was wondering if I'll be able to take a trip this year.
This year? You mean like during the time that we're waiting for stimulus checks? I doubt it, but let me look.
What about?
Hold on, let me look at the cards. Your cards say, no, it's too hard. Your money's not there to go up the mountain, that you need to be studying wisdom right now. This is your past. It shows that in the past you had trouble with a romance. Now, here's your present. Your present is you're waiting on something. And you've got major change up, male and female change, but you have a guardian angel up for you. So whatever you're doing, keep doing it because you are being watched right now. Now, for the future, oh, my goodness. Now, you're wanting to know within 4 months, okay? You'll hear about something within 4 months. So I wouldn't plan your trip till you have the wisdom in your map your plate for 4 months from now. Now, you're asking on a, entertainment show for psychics, but Tommy and I believe in what we do. We both died. We're both Ascension Masters, and we understand life is immortal, and we help a lot of people with their souls and their soul's progression, but we're also life coaches. So, you're asking a question, but I wouldn't plan anything for 4 months out. So go ahead and plan it. So that gives you, I would say, December, January, February, by March. Because people start traveling, but they don't usually like to travel during the spring. But for you, March to May, and then we're back into our big season for all the travel. It's really hard to get booked in from June through August, very expensive. Except even if you come to here in the hurricane area. Now, I didn't ask you, where are you calling from? What state are you in?
Virginia.
Oh, yes, you did. You told me because we talked about Jenny. All right, Tommy, have you got any advice for him traveling from Virginia? Did I lose you?
Oh, no,
okay?
Sorry, I was just on mute. Yeah,
oh, okay.
All right.
Anything for Khalil?
I don't know what path you follow. You follow a religious path or not. I just put my protection around me so that I'm safe wherever I go. And you have to learn to listen to that, because the littlest things when you're on the road can turn into a nightmare or a disaster. So when you're listening to yourself and you have it open to the communication, and you could actually get answers that you need. So, don't rely on yourself for the answers. Always go within if you can, if you know how to, because protection is what you need wherever you go anymore now, especially with the virus and everything else, whether it's real or not. And when you support a president or a vice president, you have to be careful about that, because people don't like that and you say something. So it's getting to a point, traveling's really hard. So all I would tell you is just make sure you stay protected. Try to stay within your own personal limits, and don't talk about presidents or vice presidents or any kind of religions right now, because everybody's up in arms. Hopefully that'll come back into control.
Yeah,
but
really put forth, folks, about the stimulus checks. We really need them to catch us up for this quarter and this year. Then we've got to starve just about January, February, March until the tax roll. People pay their taxes or get their early money back, right? But then, people don't like to travel during those winter months, especially Virginia, Khalil. And but March and April, when the trees start blooming, that's when we do spring cleaning, clean up our lives in the past. So right now we're in a healing mode for the planet. And hopefully we're going to get rid of this stuff within 4 months. Tommy, do you foresee, with all the people you talk to, about this pandemic rolling up within 3 months? Because we've got to get through the flu months with all these places that have snow and winter.
Well, here's a story. If they talk about the flu, it's going to take away from their virus, so their other virus. So they're probably, I already heard words on it saying that it's not spreading. So they're not going to talk about it. They're going to relate everything to this other virus now. So they're not going to really promote how many we have on the flu. I'm sure they're going to get numbers, but it's not going to be the same.
Are they going to put the numbering system in Africa in the same shots for the pandemic to get people numbered like our Social Security numbers? Uplinking
them? Yes,
it's
going to be the whole world.
The whole world's going to be uplinked for the Internet. Is that just for them to keep up with them personally, or because we can't get cell phones to them fast enough, or Obama phones to them, or what? In other countries, because we're using, that wasn't Musk putting up balloons so he could get to them faster, or was that Bezos? I forgot. We're using balloons, over countries that we can't really afford to dig, cable or have the satellites. I don't know what's up with that, folks.
Well, there's so much going to happen in the next 6 months alone. When you talk about even the 3 months, travel is going to be, make sure you don't get somewhere where you're going to get stuck. That's another thing.
Oh, yeah,
because
you don't want to get so many people normally travel and wear the mask. So you've got people that are regular travelers, right? So you don't want to get all mixed up in those.
My partner had a friend in India and was traveling. I guess he was trying to get to Tibet. He got stuck in China, and he's been locked down now, and he can't get out of there.
So if you don't have money to travel with a big backup of 12,000, don't count on it. folks. I mean, and we love to travel, but, you know, you got to have a nest egg. So who's taking care of these people when they get stuck? Who's feeding them?
Nobody.
Oh, my.
And that's scary because if you don't have a way to support yourself, you're really in trouble because you have to stay somewhere. They're not going to pay for your hotel. I mean, it should be if they force you to stay there, they should make you stay in their hotel. But
well, let's get another caller. 917, you're live and on the air with TJ and Tommy. How are you today? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Theresa. How are you, Theresa?
Okay, who's this?
This is Theresa calling from New York City.
Theresa, and what city or state are you in?
I'm in Manhattan, in the Manhattan area.
Oh, okay. So how are you today? And I guess you've talked to me before?
Of course I have talked to you before. Yes, you're great. I've talked to you.
Okay. Good. Well, I'm glad you came back. Thank you for supporting me and my channel. Please like me and follow me and all that, Theresa. Do you already follow me? Are you one of my numbers? I've only got like 150. I never think to tell people all those things you're supposed to market, you know, like please like me and follow me and all that stuff. I got to start doing that. Well, Theresa, how can I help you today? Are you looking for anything from me and Tommy, a question or anything particular?
Yes. Okay, so I'm empathic myself. Okay,
yeah.
So I just have to actually start believing in my powers, which is fine. And my goal one day would be to help people. But in the meantime, I'm looking to do a move. Okay, and the most oddest thing happened to me today. Okay, so being that I live in New York City, you have landlords or homeowners sometimes, when they're looking for people, they may post something in the area, for example, on a bulletin board, or they may post it on the street light. So when so I don't know, just something compelled me to pull, even though I wasn't looking for this particular apartment or anything, but I just looked up the telephone number. And I just wanted to see what are they trying to tell me, because I'm looking for something. I don't know.
Well, did you call it? I mean, if you got a phone number or something, you're following your intuition because you said you're empathic. So you're doing it not just with your conscious, but your subconscious and your superconscious, and you're hooking your mind up with your nervous system and your heart, right? So you feel it in your gut. You know, when you're being intuitive, and you're using your skills, and you're in training, right? You said you're getting better at this, and you want to help people. So what made you attracted to that phone number? Did you see it on one of these postings?
You know, one time I called into Blog Talk Radio, and a lady told me, she told me to, when I start looking for a place, even look like on bulletin boards, or just keep looking if you don't find anything online. So I don't know. I just picked it up, although I'm not moving in that particular area, but I just grabbed it.
Well, only you know, your subconscious knows that, but we can do a reading on it, and
okay.
I can tell you what the cards are telling me if you want me to, do an uplink for you with the universe. All right. Well, let me see what the cards say. Now, we're going to just be directing folks so you're listening, and Janette, if she comes back or wants to use the show. But I'm using the cards to ask a direct question for Theresa here, but I'm still going to do the way I do it, past, present, future. Now, this shows in the past a beautiful woman with lots of money, very beautiful life. So I'm suggesting that was you in your past life. So you came here wanting your higher self, which makes sense because you want to help people. So you were very much about the magician, which Tommy and I are too. And you're using your magic powers because it is a very magical time on Earth, especially right now. But the present shows that you're working towards your money, but your money cards are really good. Your lovers are upside down, but that's okay. You can fix that. I'm sure there's a reason for that. Now let me look at your question. Now, it has to do with home and moving. I do see that card. But completion, and it shows you completing, but it's not telling me the end of the story. There's no end to the story. So it shows you do have somebody watching over you in the future, but it's one of your higher guides. So because you're pulling up the Ace of Wands for wisdom and the Star, which is a very high arcanic card, so to speak. So they're wanting you to work on your own wisdom, because remember, you came into this life with your own magic. That's why you're using your empathy, and you want to get into our spiritual metaphysical group or ACO club or whatever. But just keep doing what you're doing. With that number, let me just ask one question. Is this a good number for her? Oh, it says the world. So that's good. So anything that you want it to be, so you're going to have to manifest. This is about you manifesting your future. So you need to just follow up and see what it means to you and how you can make that. Because right now, everybody is creating their own map, right? We've got to decide what we want in order to get there. Saying, Tommy and I were just talking about that with Khalil, right? You've got to map out what you want and how to get there. So what does it mean to you? Did you call? Did you follow up?
I didn't follow up, but normally what I do every week, every Sunday, I just start looking online and I get the newspapers to the area to where I want to move in New Jersey. So that's the only thing. I'm looking hard.
Well, Tommy's from New Jersey. Tommy, you get any psychic hits? Does your vision? Tommy used to use it while he lived there. He was very in tune, but he hasn't been using it a lot with white people. He's like me, a little hermit. But I do a lot of remote viewing. But Tommy, can you remote view in your mind's eye and help her? Tell him what part of New Jersey are you in? Because Tommy, did you live in Bayonne? Where'd you live? You're on mute. Unmute. Hold on, he'll be here in a minute.
I live just about everywhere in Jersey.
Oh, so you know Jersey. Well, help her figure it out.
All right,
give her a psychic hit.
Questions first. Let me give you a couple questions first. Now, you say you're empathic. How empathic are you?
Well, how would she answer that?
Here's the reason why.
Okay.
You're a percentage. Empathic people are a percentage, anywhere from 1 to 100. When you're 100%, which I was empathic for 2 years. All right, what it means, I don't know how you perceive it, which I wanted to ask you. When you see a person, what do you perceive, and what's the empathic reading that you get from a person? For me, I could see every thought that's in their mind. Everything they say or feel, I could see it. And I would confront people on that as well, because most people are not thinking of anything spiritual, first off. And second off, it was pretty bad. Can you see auras?
I can read people's minds. I can feel the energy of dead people. I can feel the energy of people passing over sometimes.
Can you read the actual details of what they're thinking?
It all depends. How can I don't do, the thing is, sometimes I really don't get, because I have so much going on that I'm trying to do, but I pick up on the energy of people, though. I can read people, some people I can read their minds, and I can pick up, like, on my niece or my nephew or my sister. I can read their thoughts clearly.
So she's growing, she's very empathic, Tommy, but what's that got to do with helping her find a place? Help her remote view. Where she's at and where you've lived, I'm just getting you to help her today for the show by remote viewing. Just, you know how to see everywhere you've lived, and she's looking for her new path. And do you need a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment?
I'm doing a 2-bedroom. I can see the place clearly. I can see it. That place,
you can already envision it. What you want.
Well,
even if you have to recolor.
If you're going to stay in New Jersey, I think you should be looking up north.
You're right.
Or extreme south. And I think north would be much better because it's much cleaner, healthier. The energy up there is so different than southern or the eastern coast. The people up there are much different, much nicer in a lot of ways, more connected, more open. Jersey, from Jersey City, Bayonne, Union City, West New York, Weehawken, Guttenberg. All the way from North Bergen, all the way to Secaucus. It's a lot different.
Can I give her your phone number so we can get the next call? Is it okay, Tommy? Because your personality, he's a public personality. And just call him and let him work on a map. He can take a crystal and scry for you like they do on the TV show Charmed. But he's an Indian healer, too. But he knows a lot of psychic abilities. But he can take a crystal on a chain and hang it over New Jersey map and help you learn how to do that, scrying. So his number is 808-217-5965, and he had his own group there in Jersey for years, but he'll be definitely good at helping you grow too. So if you're looking for a coach, he's a good coach. 808, and he doesn't really charge, so everything's done by donations to our club. Or, you can do charity work and help other people too, Theresa. So write down 808-217-5965 and call him about scrying on a map with you. Maybe you can get your crystal. Do you have one already on a chain?
No, but I can get one.
Well, yeah, get one. Tommy will help you. That's one of the basics we teach. But you've watched the movie Charmed, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Mm-hmm.
The TV? Well, they use it all the time. You just take a map and you hold it over, but it'll help you find. I'm very intuitive. My husband always loved it because I could just go. I would be driven. It's like a magnet to my next house. And, of course, there were no signs or anything. People were like, oh, we were just fixing to, get somebody. Yeah, come on in. Look. So I'd be like, how'd you know that? And it always happened wherever we moved, didn't matter what state, but I had that gift. But for those that don't just have, that natural magnetic north or whatever, is hard to explain if you have it. But others, you still have to use physical reality in 3D form. And so we have these tools we teach in our club. It's ACO Psychic Network Club. Tommy and I are CEO, director, co-founders, and we have the Ascension Center and the Ascension Church Ohana, but that's for outside groups, to meet, like with Michael Sala and all those in Hawaii. But we're working on that for 2021. But in the meantime, if you will, Theresa, just remember, we'll sign you ACO New Jersey. Tommy, we don't have anybody because your friend left, and your psychic over there, but we need a psychic. So while Theresa's admitting she's an empath, just list her as an ACO empath in New Jersey while you're helping her scry for her new location, okay? You could do that, couldn't you, Tommy?
Right.
Thank you.
Let her call me later.
Yeah.
Later
I
on.
will.
All right.
Thank you, Theresa.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, and stay in touch. We'll be right here. All right. Next person, 770. 770. Hi, you're live and on the air. Where are you calling from?
Hi. Hello. My name is Maddie. I just tuned in, and I don't know if you gave me a reading or just doing a dialogue, but I took that number down for the guy.
For him helping to scry and coach our ACO club. Yeah, our psychic club, I'm trying to grow my psychic network, and Tommy helps me with my church on Sundays, but today I had Jenny. It was just, I had a lot of trouble getting on, so sometimes he'll produce for us too. So Tommy's sort of a life coach, but he helps train psychics and metaphysical beings, but he prefers soul body classes that we'll teach on video. But, yeah, you wrote his number. It's Tommy. So, Tommy, okay, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Maddie, and I'm calling from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi, Maddie.
Hi,
called before,
how are you?
Haven't you?
Tommy?
Tommy,
Hello?
can you hear?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm here. Sorry.
Are you taking questions or what?
Yeah, go ahead and ask him a question.
No, I was going to ask, do you help with dreams?
Sure.
Okay. Well.
Okay, the first step. Oh, well, go ahead. Ask your question. Get into it first.
Okay. You say go ahead? Okay. I had a dream about seeing a check for $200,000, and I had a dream following a couple of nights after that someone gave me a $20 bill, and I was trying to figure out what the twos meant.
All right.
You know,
now the two, you're saying the two from your mouth, right?
For $200,000, and it was sometime after that I had a dream that someone gave me a $20 bill.
So it keeps showing up in your dreams, so you're relating just to the two only. So it doesn't matter the amounts, but the abundance of doubling your in your dreams, maybe. So are you asking for like dream interpretations and their meanings?
That's why I asked you help me decipher that dream.
Dream interpretations, yes. Tommy. plus numerology. Yeah, that's numerology as well. So dream interpretation. Tommy, write that down because that's a lot of what Suzanne does. But yeah, Tommy's done all 32 schools in Atlantis, but he's going to have to start writing down the different schools. But Tommy, write down dream interpretation and numerology and scrying because that's coming up for you today. But go ahead, Tommy. I'll let you talk.
Well, yeah, it's okay. What you do when you get into dreams, it's always to do a dream log because that helps you a real lot. And the second part of that is you'll understand. See, symbols all have a meaning, but they all mean different things to different people. But some people just classify them as the same. When you talk about water, it's purity. When you talk about air, it's cleansing. I mean, when certain family members mean certain things are going to happen. So each person, you have to realize your connection to those people, because that determines whether it's going to be a good thing or a bad thing happening in your life. When somebody from the ancient, in your past lives come into your life, or even somebody that died in your family, it's always a warning. But whether it's a good or bad warning, you have to really work on that, because what was the situation? And something that you need to remember, whenever you go to sleep, tell yourself what you want in your dream. When you wake up, never jump out of bed. Keep your eyes closed and try to relate to the feelings that you have right before you get out of bed.
Okay.
Because that'll show you the balance of the energy of what you're going to be going through during the day as well. All right.
Oh, okay.
Because if you when you keep your dream log, it shows you, like, okay, you get up in the morning. Oh, my grandmother was in it. You go through your day. Before you go to sleep, just write something real short. Don't write a book on your dream or what you did. Just say something bad happened and what it was, a car crash, a submarine, whatever the different thing is, just write that down. Don't write a big experience, because otherwise you're going to have a 100-page dialogue every day. You only want a couple little notes, because in a short period of time, when you see the same symbol, it'll relate and you'll understand what it means a lot faster. Because when people translate, they can only translate it from what they know, because every person's symbol is slightly different. Sometimes water just means purity for a lot of people. But when a tidal wave takes away your town and you're in it, or you're hiding behind a brick wall, I mean, that happened to me so many times. But it's always a warning, usually. I mean, your dreams try to help you the same as being aware of your past lives. They show you all the things you went through in your life. So if you keep it your dream log, which I'm saying is you should start right now. And just put your date, when you wake up, when you go to bed, how you feel. And put a note of what happened during the day. If anything different happened, you meet somebody new, a friend, an old friend, and just keep that together and put on the top of the page the exact feeling you had, because you can always relate to those feelings and then see who and what was in it, and that'll always help you bring a balance to that into what you're going through. I did it for years. I mean, it's not easy, but it does help. And see, if I translate everything for you, it's only what I perceive. And because it's the way you think it, how you relate to life, how you relate to people, especially your family or friends. So it's based on that. When you have somebody in your dream, suddenly it's all people you don't know and you're in a different place, then that means the balance is, you're not in balance, and you have to see what's bringing you out of balance. So, but when you're dreaming, there's a lot of techniques you need to learn, like get in and out of the dream. I mean, if you're in a bad dream, you don't stay in it.
Hattie, you said you're in Atlanta?
Honey?
What about Atlanta?
Yeah.
What about Atlanta?
You're in Atlanta, Georgia? With a 770?
Yes. I am.
Okay. Do you have any groups that meet Reiki or metaphysical? Or, of course, in this 2020, we've had COVID-19, but or do you just come and meet us here?
I'll have to find them. I know there are groups around, but I'll have to find out. I go on the internet and do some search. Okay. Are you in Roswell, Georgia area? Roswell's about 45 minutes from me.
Just put something in the mail, and it's loose, but it looks nice on it, so she's going to keep it.
Tommy?
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Tommy, Hattie, just come back and be in our ACO club here. You got Tommy's number. And do you have an email?
I do.
Okay. Tommy, give her your hawksblood1@AOL.com, isn't it? But you'll have to spell it probably. Hattie, you got a pen?
Yes, I do.
Remember the hawk, the bird.
I do.
Hawk, H-A-W. Hawk, H-A-W-K-S.
HAWKS, Hawks.
The hawk that flies, hawk, HAWKS. Blood, as in your body, BLOOD.
Hawks Blood, okay.
Number 1.
AOL.com.
At the at sign for like Gmail, but AOL.com. Yeah, he's still got AOL. AOL.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Blood, 1, AOL.com. Okay.
Yeah, just send him an email, Hattie, and let him know that you're in Atlanta, because I want us to create a database, because in order for us to get our church going as a metaphysical, I found out we can't use the word non-denominational. And he and I are Universal Life Ministers, registered with Modesto, California, but he's in Hawaii and I'm in Florida. But we have to start getting donations in for helping people, even like a metaphysical church. So, folks, if you can, send us a donation. You can do it on PayPal to help you get psychic readings. But we need to have your name so we can make like how many people would be willing to help us get this going after 8 years, even though I didn't know we couldn't use non-denominational, but I know now. So I have to claim like a metaphysical church. So I filed 2 days ago. We got our federal ID number for Ascension Church Ohana. And then, Tommy, we're going to be metaphysicians, right? A metaphysical church. And you know how the spiritualist church in the 1800s provided protection for fortune tellers, but we're going to do it for all the stuff, Tommy and I, all the 32 schools we had in Atlantis, and scrying and numerology and psychometry, and, list all those for mentoring and coaching. But we'll help everybody getting to know you and getting your maps going, because everybody seems to be going through some kind of change in 2020, and rightfully so. So things change. We're all changing, Hattie. But Hattie, just stay in touch with us and listen to us hopefully on Wednesdays and Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Now, that's 5 to 7, Hattie. Is that okay with you in Atlanta?
5 on Sundays, 5 to 7?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
Good. Well, write that down and then see if you can encourage other people. Give them our call-in number and then tell them to like us. We've been here 8 years, but I've been paying the bills. But money is getting tight, folks, so we're going to have to start a no, I can't say that anymore. I've got to say ACE Metaphysical and call it Ascension Church Ohana. But I've had Ascension Center Ohana for years with the federal government back to the early 2000s. So we can use Ascension Center Organization and ACE Metaphysical Institute, and it's in our articles and bylaws. I've got those listed on American Communications Online, which is my main company, folks. And Tommy and I have been using them for years and read them. So if y'all can go back on Blog Talk Radio here, you can see. So we've got, as far as the government's concerned, a history with Ascension Center, Tommy and I here, ACO Club, ACE Metaphysical Institute, UFO Association, Psychic Network. So we're just hoping that y'all will support us, because we didn't know we got to make a list of people. So Tommy, you got to help me make emails and people and list the donations, because Tommy and I, in 8 years, we only had one lady send us $20 once on Gmail and told me to split it with him and I. We just left it in there and paid one of our $40 bills. But we do have a PayPal, folks, honest. It's just other radio shows Tommy and I were on, we had no problem telling them to send money in, did we, Tommy, for Revolution Radio? But me and Tommy just didn't realize what all we got to do to make this work. So if y'all can help us any, we'd appreciate it. And we'll try to get ACO clubs set up in every little town, and then we can have meetings and train y'all better on working some free ones on YouTube. Tommy and I can teach. And I've got a bunch of classes, and he does too. So y'all come back and listen to us. And we've been here 8 years, but now we're going to be a real psychic club and a real Ascension Metaphysical Church. Tommy's had a coven before, so it's not new to him, but we're going to do a metaphysical church now. But, of course, we do believe in God, nature's God, and big God with a big G. So we'll have stories on that. We'll have stories on the realms and the dimensions. And, Tommy, I did a really cool little thing. Tommy, did you find that teaching one on YouTube? Folks, Hattie, I want you to go look at it. One of his first teachings that I finally, after 8 years, I kept telling him, I want to do something on realms. So if you go, Tommy, did you pull it up?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah,
is it the one with the drums or without the drums you watched? One doesn't
without
speak.
The drums.
Oh, you watched.
Right,
okay, is that the one with your picture on it? Let me see if I can find it. Okay, in my history.
A lot of different pictures come up.
Okay, let's see. Folks, I want to start educating you to be part of our Ascension Church Ohana Metaphysician Spiritual Science. Now, it comes up on Spreaker, and we're on Spotify and iHeart, all the places. I pay lots of money out, actually, every month just to get us distributed. So if you talked on the show, you're part of the show. So Spreaker. But we're going to build this, and we're going to start working on getting a database of people with their email and what they can help us with a donation and give y'all more help to be self-sufficient and help you on using tools to help yourself, because they're out there. It's just how much do you want to believe and how much do you want to map and have tools. And we have Reiki and psychometry and tarot reading and obviously even water witching and using the L rods, which is what Jenny does, and then helping people find other people, and then being very intuitive and helping you find your places you want to live, and just helping everybody. We're going to do a lot more. Well, Tommy, do you have anything else you'd like to say? Because tell them about your show on Tuesday live, and then Wednesday we'll come back. Go ahead.
Well Tuesday I do a show.
You'd like to say, because tell them about your show on Tuesday live. Where's that coming from? We'll come back.
I have no clue.
That's weird. Somebody got me.
Somebody recorded it and it's playing it back.
Where's that coming from? Let me go see.
Well,
okay, let me go find
somebody that's listening to the show is still on. TJ, somebody that's still listening to the show.
I think they turned it off.
There's always a time delay.
Oh, okay. There's somebody on the show now. They'll be recorded. Well, folks, usually I'll try to post upcoming shows, but if I don't, if I'm showing up late, it's just technical problems. But I'm switching from 8 to 10 at night Eastern, which is 7 to 9 Central. I'm going to go for the winter months at least 4 to 6. That's 5 to 7 Eastern. For all you regulars that like to call in and either be a part of the show, ask a question, or get a reading with me and Tommy. But Tommy and I are going to start training you guys, and he's got his first episode 1 series 1. Anyway, it's a class on how he talks about realms, and I want to do number 2, Tommy, follow up. So send me the lines. You know how I did? Not any more or less. That was pretty good for Tommy. But, Tommy, I can't find it, so I'll have to find them and send them to you. Did you post them on your channel, those teaching YouTubes?
All right. Well, did you want me to go on about Tuesday first?
Yeah, now that I can hear you, go ahead.
All right. Tuesday I do a show. It's early my time, but she's in London, so England, and it's a lot different. But we talk about everything in the UFO world. We do have information, the latest information we can. She's going through a lot of stuff from being abducted, and still is. So we're on the top of the line as far as abductees go. Most stuff on abductees isn't live and real and up to date. So if you're really interested in that at any level, tune in. We do on UFO.
Oh, you're dropping off,
and
Tommy.
What was that?
You just dropped off or bent. I don't know what you did.
I didn't do nothing. I just stand right here.
Okay.
Also, I know they've been having a lot of problems with phones.
Everywhere during this. It's because so many people are home and using it. They tell me. Plus, they're rewriting code between Google, Microsoft, Verizon, TiVo, all the different big companies. They're in over their heads, and so they're having to rewrite it. Plus, it bends because everybody's using it. It's making the bandwidth thin out. It's not. I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's really hard for all of us in communications, folks, and on phone companies. So give us some time between all the Verizon and AT&T and Sprint and T-Mobile and all of those with different companies. Well, Tommy, we've only got a few minutes left. Folks, you can join us, ACO Club or Ascension Center. You can go to AmericanCommunicationsOnline.com. My name's Theresa. I've got TheresaJMorris.com, Tommy. And I will be back here Sunday. And then you can look for us on YouTube, Tommy Hawksblood, Hawksblood1, Thomas Anthony Sinisi. He goes by Tommy Hawksblood Sinisi on Facebook. So look him up. And mine's TJ Morris Agency. My Theresa Morris is pretty much filled up, but I've got Theresa J. Morris, Theresa J. Thurmond, Thurmond Morris. And the reason is so many of my social media for all those years on my Gmail accounts were filling up with people, and they'd only let us have 5,000. So anyway, I started a bunch, but now I can't find them all. But people have me about 10 of my faces on different ones. But Tommy, I'm sorry we missed each other, but we'll do Tuesday, and then Tommy, how about 4 to 6 Wednesday? Is that okay? You're on mute.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, Tommy. And then 2 people should email you or call you, but write their names down and then ask them to come back on Wednesdays and Sundays. And, folks, we'll come back, and then hopefully on Thursdays I may show up and do some readings too, Tuesday or Thursday, but for sure Wednesday and Sunday. So look for TJ Morris ET Radio, American Communications Online, and Theresa J. Morris is TJ, and Tommy is Thomas Hawksblood Sinisi on Facebook. And we'll keep trying to do what we can, and we love helping people coach, and we'll be making videos. So look for our YouTubes too, please, on American Communication Online Broadcasting. If you're on the show, to go back and hear your part. Our TJ Morris Agency are the 2 I'm promoting, at least on YouTube. So I pay from Spreaker, so it goes from Blog Talk over to Spreaker, and then out to YouTube and Spotify and iHeart and Stitcher and all kind of big names out there to produce it and syndicate it. All right, Tommy, see you. You do Tuesday, folks. He'll do an alien show with Tina Bird out of UK on Tuesday. What time, Tommy, Tuesday on YouTube?
Well, it's 9 a.m. Hawaii time.
Oh, so it depends on where they're at. So he's 4 hours. It's 6 p.m. right now in the Panhandle in Gulf Breeze. What time is it in Hawaii, Tommy?
Oh, I don't even know. It's like
2 p.m.?
2 o'clock. Yep.
All right, so we're on 4-hour difference. Normally we're 5 hours, but spring back, fall backwards. So that means if you said you do 11 a.m. Hawaii time, and Tina,
9 a.m.
What time?
9 a.m. I do.
Ooh, 9 a.m. in Hawaii. Now, Tina is 6 hours ahead of me Central, right? Or is it 6 hours Eastern? What time is she broadcasting in the UK?
Broadcasting about 7 o'clock at night.
7 p.m. Okay. All right. So if you guys want to be part of our shows in the future and get readings and stuff, join me on patreon.com, patreon.com /Theresa with an H, THERESAJ, Morris, MORRIS. Tommy did. And we ask all our members to be members and pay dues. It's not much. And then you got to have like a $5 a month or $2 a month membership. And then we do the free readings online here at least once a week, sometimes twice. And but we can help you on your yearly, your monthly, or your quarterly. And then we've got people like Ginette just coming aboard, and she can help you too, and with all kind of things, and Tommy. So Tommy, write down your specialties and then send it to me, and I'll put some pictures, and I use either English or woman or a male voice. So it'll be series 1, episode 2, Tommy. And
all right.
I think the other one says teaching, but I can't find it. I'll have to find it again because you got to put the keywords, folks, even in YouTube. So, Tommy, if you can find them, post them on your channels. And they're on some of my channels, folks, so help me find it. It's the one Tommy Teaches episode. Now, the last one we did was Halloween Memory of 2020. It says 1 day ago. So it just got posted. So they were behind, I guess, at least on my channel. Tommy, I don't usually they posted. I pay them money, and they posted immediately. And some of them, the older ones, will post the whole 2 hours. The newer channels only post it in 50-minute increments. I don't know why. It's something to do with YouTube.
All right.
Love and light. Thanks, Tommy, for your help today, and I hope you and Ginette in the future can do more. All right, love and light, everybody. We'll see you. Let's see, today's Sunday. Tommy, I'll see you Tuesday, and I'll see you Wednesday right here, same time, same station. Love and light, everybody.